Welcome to Random Conflux with Goten and Uncle Pickle.
That's right, we're here about your training. You've been slacking off, Goten.
Me slack off? You're green around the gills, sir.
Listen, whether you like it or not, you're going to spend 10 years in a hyperbolic time chamber until you've wisened up.
No, not the hyperbolic, but what-inator?
Jokes aside, I'm John.
I'm Sam.
And this has been Random Conflux. No, I'm kidding.
Have a nice day. Alright.
Now, please don't quit. Please don't turn it out.
Don't click on the video.
We're talking about our own take on an interesting article. IGN stated that older video games are selling better than newer ones. What do you have to...
When you're looking at it on paper and like a spreadsheet thing, yeah, if you're looking at like life term.
Yeah.
Because, like, the longer something is out, and this is the way with anything you sell or whatever.
Yeah.
The longer you have it out, the more chance it's going to increase in sales.
Yeah. But specifically, they were talking, like, older games like GTA 5, Fortnite, Minecraft, stuff like that. That's still, like, older, but still outselling.
Well, GTA is still getting updates.
That's true.
Minecraft is still getting updates.
That's true.
That doesn't really count because as far as we are aware, until the next game within the tradition comes out, we're still within that game's lifespan.
That's true. And there are pros and cons to playing older games versus newer ones, obviously.
But when you're saying older games versus newer games, I'm thinking Resident Evil for like the PlayStation series.
Yeah.
Compared to like Resident Evil Remake, where it's on a newer console, upscaled.
Yeah.
Like, to me, how does the older one perform when it first came out to how newer one performed when that one came out?
Yeah.
And when you're doing analytics, it's one of those things that you can't really compare two things, an old and a new, because of a gap in age.
Yeah.
And a gap of like how long this thing has been out. It's like comparing our videos from the first one ever made to the next one to come out. It's one of those things on, you can do the same video when you first start a YouTube channel, and then do another one like 6 months down the road, or a year down the road, or 3 years down the road, or 6 years down the road.
And it might be better, and it might be worse.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing two different number of fluctuations, and let's say you had the same topic, you had the same flow, you had the same design, the same everything.
Yeah.
The one that's been there longer will actually start building more than the one that previously came out.
Yeah.
To really understand how well something like that is doing, and this is something that can be put into production of any type, is you look at a set point.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to see how well a video of ours is doing within the last month or two. But when you're looking at it from like a lifetime point of view, like that thing's lifetime.
Yes.
That video's lifetime. It's always going to have a higher number than the newer video coming out. Because that's just the way math works.
Yeah. And there are cases where games are currently selling more than newer ones, but that's not always...
When you think about it logically, and if they were running a test for like 2 months straight, or maybe 6 months straight, to see how well an older game is doing better than like a newer game.
Yeah.
And they set that time scale to be equal. Let's say they set that time scale to match the the timescale of the newer game's birth or like lifespan.
Yeah, something else to factor in too is a lot of times, like if you go on the Xbox or PSN Marketplace, you'll see an older game on sale between like $5 and $20 sometimes, and that adds to the current sales too because you're like, hey, this is on sale, I can play this and get an awesome game out of it.
Yeah, but one thing most people may notice is the nostalgia.
Yeah.
A lot of people are wanting to like pull their old consoles out of the closet.
Oh yeah.
You know, maybe they had a game before and it got scuffed, and like they went and bought a new version of it.
Yeah. Or back to getting games on sale though. That's actually what got me into the Saints Row series. I saw them $5 a piece on Steam one day. I'm like, wow, these are fun. Or nostalgia, like you said. Like I know you still hook up your PS2 from time to time and play it.
Yeah, because there's games on there that I still today like to play.
Yeah, and I still play I play my PS2. I still play emulators a lot too because
or there could be like a game that was discontinued.
Yeah,
and maybe you want to buy a new copy of it.
Yeah.
Or you're just one of those people that wants to get into like retro gaming but don't want to use an emulator. You want to buy the actual copy.
Yeah, if I had the space and the money, I would buy more physical games. I have a large collection. I've stated this before, but
well, I've seen people literally like dedicate a room in their house or a closet in their house to just being a file for games.
Yeah. One thing I regret is pitching a bunch of my cases because I put them all on a sleeve at the time. I thought, I don't need the cases anymore, and now I regret pitching the cases.
Yeah,
worst decision I made.
There's probably a few games you have that's actually worth more with the case.
Yeah, Infinite World being one of them. Not that I would sell them, but because I like playing them, but yeah.
Well, you got an emulator. Technically, if you sell them, you still...
I gotta at least say I own them, because if I own them physically, I still own them.
Well, if you can say you've already bought them, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
Because you've already paid for those games.
Yeah.
So why pay again?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's kind of, if you don't know how they're deciding on like what's being purchased more,
Yeah.
and how their time scale is working, then like you can't always go off of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because IGN may have one type of scaling that they do.
Yeah.
To check for like popularity in games.
Yeah.
And then another platform like Gamer Inside or GamerFest or Feast. Is it Fest or Feast?
Yeah. Fest.
Okay. And then there's some other gaming websites or magazines that talk about like how popular a game is. Game Rant, Game Informer. You got all these different people, different companies, different methods of like finding what's popular and what's not.
Yeah.
Based on their own set of criteria.
Yeah.
And especially when they're wanting to push their own narrative on top of like whatever they're viewing.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that is one of the reasons why I don't really give two shits of a tail feather about like
the articles and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I just thought it was something interesting to talk about.
Because
we can give our own take on it.
If I was to do an article like that, I would go back so many years. Let's say if a game only came out for a year, I would only do a year's worth of the older game. Instead of doing the whole lifespan, I would just do that same year that the new game came out. Let's say a game came out this year, but it's a replica of a game that came out in 2000. And there's plenty of them.
Oh, there's remasters and
Go look
ports
for
all the time. Yeah.
Resident Evil being one of them. Final Fantasy being a few of them. Or even like Metal Gear or whatever. You want to take the year that the new game came out. And then you gotta wait so long and watch how both games scale and how they sell. And then let's say because this version of the game is older, it's gonna be cheaper, and that's gonna hint to slightly more profit in sales. Because games that are older, that you get from, let's say, a gaming store like GameStop or JB Games or what's that other place?
I know in Pittsburgh they have a store called The Exchange. That's like a mom and pop shop.
But what was that other place that we used that was here but now it's in Weirton?
I forget. This and That Collectibles or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
No, This and That Gaming.
Yeah, that's an awesome store.
Oh, yeah. But because of how old it is, they're going to be more productive in selling the older game.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make 100% of that profit back. And they can sell it at a cheaper price. Where a newer game that's just being put out for sale, about 70% of that profit goes to the game manufacturer.
Yeah. I think that's also why the retro market's actually going up. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, older games are selling for a lot now.
Because...
people are wanting them.
Yeah. That being one, the historical value of them is another reason why they may be going up.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, the newer or the older a game is, the less it, or the more it decreases in price.
Yeah, usually they decrease. Some of these retro titles that are popular have been increasing, like the PS2 and.
Well, that's
that's a whole other ball game.
That's supply and demand type of thing. But if you're looking at it from a retrospective type of thing, only like rare games, or not the company Rare, but hard to find games, are actually increasing in price.
Yeah.
Because of collectors.
Yeah.
There's even like people buying games to play on YouTube because it's something free that you can actually kind of do for a period of time and make some money off of. And it's a cheap and lazy way to make money. And I'm not saying every person doing YouTube is lazy.
No, there's a lot of work that goes into it. But.
Yes, but there's people out there that do YouTube that really don't do a lot of the stuff themselves. They have other people do it for them. And they just choose... And I'm not talking about like Jacksepticeye or MatPat or like...
They have whole teams.
They have whole teams, but they're still like running the thing themselves. They're going and writing those scripts. They're going buying the game. They're doing said deed.
Yeah.
But there's content creators out there that's like, well, I have a person that can go buy my games. And I'm just making profit off of their ideas. And that's something I'm not necessarily okay with.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're not asking for this, but if you do send us games, we will be forced to play them.
Actually, not to contradict you for that, because I was actually thinking about that, and I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure when I wanted to mention it, but since it's a gaming topic, this seems to be a good time to mention it.
Yeah.
If you want us to play a game and you have a digital copy of it, you can send us the digital code for the game, or we may link our a P.O. box down in the description, and you can send us the game through the mail.
Yeah. Not that we're begging for games. We're not.
No.
It's just...
But if you send us a game to play, we'll play the game.
Yeah.
But if it's on us, we will play games we only like. We're not going to go out of our way to play a game that we may not like. We're not going to go out of the way and buy a game that's not going to make any views.
So you said, I played Serpent Age 3.0 for you, sir.
That's your loss. You don't see me playing it.
Yeah. Here.
You don't see me playing Rapper the Rapper. But, yeah. Send us a video game. We both have an Xbox.
Yeah.
I have a PS2. My PS3 is shot.
Mine works.
I need a new power supply for it.
My PS3 works. Capture's a little bit of a pain, but we can do it.
But we also have a... we also don't mind using emulators, so if it's a game that you really want us to play, or like a series of games you want us to do, put them down in the comment below, or you can go to our channel page and then do a comment on the channel page, and we'll look at it, we'll see the game, we'll look for the game, we'll play the game.
Yeah. Speaking of older games, what would you say is a feature from an older game you like a newer ones? Like, for instance, the old Grand Theft Autos compared to the new ones.
The older Grand Theft Autos, not a damn thing.
Really?
Because the newer ones basically take what the older ones had and upscale it.
Okay.
One thing I would like to take from a GTA game would probably be the body scaling mechanic that San Andreas had.
Oh, where it like showed your muscle definition and all that?
And I would like to see the property buying come back to GTA.
They kind of have that in online?
Yeah, and no at the same time.
You're limited by how many you can buy and stuff.
There was so many places that you could buy in San Andreas and make passable income.
Oh, Vice City was the same way.
And there were places where you actually had to do the work to kind of get the money.
Yeah.
And, like, I would like to see a lot of those come back.
I know, because that's what you do when you're playing GTA Online. You do, like, some of the missions and stuff for some of the Bible places, like the arcades and the motorcycle club and things like that.
And another thing I would like to see come back is they had it in GTA 4, where you have the ability to access the police network and go after bounties. Go after most wanted. And to me, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
That was like, that could have been a feature in Liberty City Stories, which was gonna be a feature for the Avenging Angels, but they scrapped the bounty mechanic. Yeah. And basically, you just drive around while wearing the suit, and if you see a cop chasing down a suspect or chasing down a citizen, you can just beat the heck out of the citizen and not get one level.
Yep. I know we're kind of off topic, but this is still fun.
But content that I would want from older games into a newer game would probably be the wrestling game.
Oh, yeah, because I know you like the create entrance and things like that.
Yeah, I like using my own music. I just like being able to be creative. And a lot of the older games for that genre were like you were able to be as creative as you wanted to be. And then for some stupid reason, they thought it was a good idea to take a bit of that creative personality of the game away slowly over the different freaking games, and it was ridiculous.
Yep, like you were desperate enough for us to try the PS3 emulator, only to realize the PS3 emulator doesn't like the games.
And then the 360 emulator, it likes the games, but it doesn't like wrestling games.
It booted into the game, it did the intro, and then it crashed.
It's not a wrestling game until you can beat someone up.
Yes.
How dare it crash?
Yep. That goes back to some of the problems. You're not always going to get a 100% accurate experience with emulators, and this is one of the cases of that. It just sucks that it's with the game you wanted to try.
Well, if I had like $200, I would be able to go get me a new power converter.
Heck, for $200, you can just buy a new PS3.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? But, okay, what's the feature you would want to see come back from an old game?
That's a good question. I'd like to see the story mode from the old Tony Hawk games come back, like Underground and Underground 2. Because they did a remake, the 1+2 remake. I'd like to see either a remake from Underground or a brand new Tony Hawk story with a new story. Or Tony Hawk game with a new story, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that, because that's the only reason why I liked Underground.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, you stated before, that's really the only Tony Hawk game you like. I like them all, except for the first one. I'm not a big fan of the first one. Those of you in the comments that want to hate me, that's fine. It's just my opinion. But I liked 2 and up. You know what I mean?
But I'm not that kind of person that really likes pointless games that has no real story.
Yeah, to me it was the platforming challenge is why I liked it. You know what I mean? But there's games with story that have that too. So I see what you're saying.
I like games that have adventure. I like games that have a narrative. I like games that have a story. They give you direction. They give you drive.
Yeah.
But you can do the game any way you want to. You can either do this directive or you can do that directive. Or you can fuck with this. Or mess with that. Or, you can go so off script that by the time you get to the mission, it's like, okay, well, I'm bored of the game now.
Yeah, and that's something that Bethesda always did well with Skyrim and Starfield and all that stuff. I've played that game out and how many times and I'd never fully beaten it because I always get sidetracked. With Fallout 4.
It's the same with me. It's
you've at least beaten it once though.
I've beat it many times.
Yeah.
But I love the fact, like, you can either go straight to the end without doing any side missions or doing any, like, faction missions. And, like, you gotta do some faction missions. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, like, to the point of just being able to get into the Institute and, do that quest and boom, it's over.
I know that's also why you liked Breath of the Wild, because it was so open-ended that you could do whatever you wanted, basically.
Yeah. You weren't pushed in a certain direction. Well, literally you are by an old guy that's like, hey, look over there. That you may want to go there.
Yeah.
And I'll see you over there. But it's like, but there's a crater between me and there. How am I supposed to get there?
That's a fun game. I actually plan on playing Tears of the Kingdom too if I ever get it.
Oh, if you get it, I won't play it.
Yeah.
I do not have a Switch, or I would be playing it all on my own. Yay.
Yep. You've kiked my Switch a few times to play them.
Yes, I have. But getting back on topic of games that sell well and don't sell well. Mm-hmm. If you take a game like, let's say you take a game like Resident Evil, and you take out every feature that people loved about the game, just to put in new features that people may not care for. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's to give it a better engine. Maybe it's to give it better sound quality or better graphics quality. Mm-hmm. But yet you're losing the surprise of an attack, or you're taking away from an experience that somebody's more familiar with.
That's technically what they did with the remix, like you're saying.
All they did with the remix was they moved some things around, where
They have a full 3D camera. They added a bunch of stuff.
Well, I was in kind of that. They moved one of the major spawns for a town, where you can actually get halfway into the town without causing the chaos to enroll.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, it kicks in. And I think you know what town it is. It's the first town you get to once starting up the game. You're supposed to go into a certain house and grab a certain thing.
You're talking.
And it was in the beginning of the game.
You're not talking about the Resident Evil remakes, are you?
The Resident Evil originals.
Oh, on the original, yeah, there was a couple things.
Yeah. And then the remake ended up changing the house, so you can explore a little bit more of the town without having to be sneaky or anything like that before going into the house and finding what you're supposed to find that triggers the attack.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the RE2 remake, you started out at the gas station that was really just a cutscene, and you could explore that whole gas station before triggering it. So that's what you're talking about?
No, it was for a different one.
Oh, okay.
It was, you're basically looking for, I forget the girl's name, but
I think you're thinking Walking Dead.
You're hired by the girl's father to find it. And the crazy people end up kidnapping her to sacrifice her to their...
Oh, that's Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about different games. I was talking about 2. You were talking about 4.
I was just saying one of them that I knew about.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? I don't remember that. 4, yes. Ignore my stupidity.
but I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it was Resident Evil 4, which I have it on my 360. I think you played more than I have right now, since you're explaining more.
Well, I've watched a good bit of someone play.
Yeah.
But he wanted to show the comparison side by side.
Yeah.
And there were improvements to the new game, but it also lacked that scariness to it.
Yeah.
Like, when playing the original, you didn't know if stepping foot inside the town at all would be what would start the attack. Or you didn't know, like, how soon a jump scare would happen.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, they babyfied it to an extent.
That said, both games are incredibly good, and they're both available on newer systems. Feel free to try them both.
I believe Xbox actually has both.
Xbox and PlayStation. And PC. And Switch via cloud, I believe? I know Switch has the first Resident Evil 4. I don't know if it has the remake.
I didn't know it was all that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Got it.
Go out and play.
Yay.
But
because of that, it's one of those things where, okay, the older game may do better because of the nostalgia. Like, okay, I've played the older one, I've played the newer one doesn't match up, so I'm going to resell the newer one
and
back to the shop, and I'm going to buy a new copy of the older game.
That was actually a lot of people's take with the Resident Evil 3 remake. They thought the original Resident Evil 3, they cut a lot of stuff out of the remake. There was a whole clock tower section they cut out. And I'm not saying the remake's bad. I enjoyed it. But there's a lot of people that didn't like it because of all the cuts and things like that.
And if you're thinking about remakes, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5.
That was more of a remaster. I mean, technically they had to remake it because they lost the code, but...
Well, with those games... they also have 2 portable games each. One was scaled down so much that it's just like a video of
playable.
All the cutscenes.
Yeah.
It's not really playable, it's just a video.
Yeah. I actually went back and played both those on emulators. I played Recoded and... sorry. Go ahead.
To that.
Go ahead.
And then one was just turned into a card game, more or less.
Yeah, Chain of Memories.
So it's like, well, I'm wanting to buy a game that has all the games related to it on one disc, so I don't have to go out and buy the portable version. It's like, but I can't even play this game.
Yeah, you can play 2 out of the 3, and the third one is just a playable movie, like you said.
Well, it's not even a playable movie. It's just a movie.
Yeah.
You can't really... It's not really an interactive movie.
No.
It's just a movie.
Yeah. And like I said, I actually did go back and I played I played on emulator the 2 portable Kingdom Hearts games that were just movies on the collection, Recoded and 358 over 2 days.
Yeah.
And they're actually good, solid games. I enjoyed them. It makes me kind of disappointed they didn't port them over. Yeah, they're not the most purposeful to the story, but they add a lot to it. Exactly. Story. And I had a better experience playing them than I did watching the movie.
And to be honest...
You were watching me play them.
Yes. If you didn't know any better, or you just ended up playing Kingdom Hearts 2 and didn't really play Kingdom Hearts 3, you wouldn't really know that who Sora was.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't introduce you off to Sora.
Yeah.
It introduces you to Roxas. Mm-hmm. And it's like, who the hell's Roxas?
Yeah. That said, I will say that Recoded is probably the most skippable story-wise, because the whole... I won't go into the story because we're not talking about that, but...
Maybe in another video.
When we do a Kingdom Hearts topic, I'll talk about all the games.
But it's one of those things, like, am I going to buy a game that I'm not going to be really able to play the story of 2 out of 5 of those games, or 2 out of those 3 games, and actually enjoy it?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I want to know about this character. I don't want to just see the cutscenes.
Yeah.
I want to know why this character is here. I want to know their story. I want to know what drives them.
Yeah, and playing the game compared to watching the movie, I got so much more out of it because I got to feel what the characters felt and experience it.
And when you look at the cutscenes for 365 over 2.
358 over 2.
Okay, 358 over 2, whatever.
You got to be specific. It's important for about 3 people watching this.
Okay, where they're licking sea salt ice cream.
We'll just call it that. Sea salt ice cream simulator.
Yes. But it's one of those things where in the game you find out how Roxas stopped remembering who he was.
Yeah.
You find out why Roxas doesn't remember Axel.
Yeah.
Or
it's
how he doesn't remember such and such, but he knows who Kairi is.
Yeah.
He knows who Sora is. He knows who Donald and Goofy are.
It shows everything leading up to the second Kingdom Hearts game from Roxas' point of view.
Yes, but you don't get that from the cutscenes.
No.
All you get from the cutscenes is that he needs some freaking ice cream, and I really want some fucking ice cream.
We have ice cream. It's not sea salt, though.
But I really want some ice cream.
You think
it's really hot out.
You think we should just end this and eat ice cream?
No, because then we're just as bad as whatever they did to that freaking game to just have it all be ice cream looking. Your tongue to ice cream.
Yeah, speaking of that game, I actually tried to record that for the channel, and OBS does not like Melon DS. I get black screen.
It probably doesn't know what part to look at.
Yeah.
Marvelous. But that's just like scratching the surface of why you would go back to like an older game.
Yeah.
Out of a new game that came back. It's like, okay, well, here's the cutscene. Like every cutscene in the game, but you really don't have much of a story to go off.
And I'll give them credit. They even remastered and added vocals to some of the other cutscenes. But that's all it is. So
it's like, okay, well, I kind of like this. I want to know like how this character got here. So by buying the new game, it's going to make me want to go back and play the older game.
Yeah.
And it's going to make me want to play the original so I can get that story that I need.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new game coming out that's bringing new life to the Fable series.
Oh yeah, it's Fable. Is it 3 or 4?
They have not marked it yet.
Okay.
It's just Fable.
I know, but I can't remember like which one of the series it is. I think it's the 4th one.
It would be the 4th game.
Yeah.
Because the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are all on PlayStation.
Xbox
360, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say PlayStation for a second.
No,
But
it's always been Microsoft.
It's a Microsoft game. But it's one of those games where, like you don't know if it's going to stay true to the original story where, the kid's family was massacred and on the kid's sister's birthday. And it's like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And it rushes you through the childhood of that person. So it gets you there in the revenge state when that's so, fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I don't care about anything else going on during this training session. I just want to beat up the people that killed my family.
Yeah.
And it really scaled into what that was going to be. And then 2 took some mechanics out and added new mechanics in.
Yeah.
And then 3 took everything you knew, flipped it on its head, and said, fuck this story so far, here's what we have.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh? You don't play the first one or the second one, and you just start with the third one. You might actually do better than if you started with the first one and the second one, and then went to the third one.
Yeah. Speaking of old games versus newer ones, all the Elder Scrolls games, right? Like there's Daggerfall, Arena, Oblivion, Skyrim, all that.
Elder Scrolls
Morrowind, I know, yeah. Me and Matt's wife were talking about the Elder Scrolls games, and Skyrim is an old game in and of itself. It's been around forever, it seems like now. But Oblivion was the game before it, and she actually had a good argument about Oblivion being the better game. It's subjective. Both games are really good. It's just whether or not. I'm not saying it is better. It's just it's a subjective argument.
I actually like the lock picking mechanic in that game because it's more realistic to the lock mechanic in Skyrim.
Oh, Skyrim just copied Fallout's lock mechanic.
Yes. But if you actually think about it, they took a lot of features from the Fable series and kind of incorporated it into Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, one thing, both games are good in their own right. I won't say which one's better than the other because I like them both. But one thing I will argue for with Oblivion is everything you do levels up your character. You make your character blink and they level up. Or they gain a skill. It's like, you learn blinking skill.
If you jump and fall the wrong way too many times, you're increasing your health.
Yeah.
Or you use health magic to bring your health up and you're increasing your health points.
Yeah, they simplified Skyrim a lot when it comes to that. Not And it's still an amazing game, like I said. I'm just pointing out.
You still have to do the things in order to be able to scale up.
Yeah.
But you have to use the points.
Yeah.
Whereas
in Oblivion, it's like, no, just sneak in a corner for an hour.
Yeah, you'll be completely fine. And it's like, well, you can even go back to Metal Gear games.
Oh, yeah.
Considering the fact, they put new Metal Gear games, they redo the older Metal Gear games pretty much every year or every
system,
life. Yeah. And one thing I've noticed is, for some reason, they didn't do it for the PS3, but that's because they were going off of the Fox engine for Metal Gear Solid 4. And then when they updated to the Xbox One and the PS3 4, they upgraded to the a little bit to the Ground Zeroes mechanic, but not clear to the point of like Metal Gear Solid 5 with the Phantom engine. But with the games coming out now, and they've already said it's going to be in the Phantom engine.
Yeah.
But it's going to have the same play style as the original.
Oh, and the remake for MGS3 that they're working on looks amazing.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be Big Boss's Legacy.
That's what Delta is, I think.
And there's going to be the Twin Sons Legacy.
Okay, so they'll probably do like a remake they're calling of MGS1 and they're calling it Twin Sons.
It's as of what I know right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2 package trios.
Okay.
There's going to be the Big Boss sections. Like Metal Gear Solid 3, 5, and the portable games.
Peace Walker and Portable Ops.
Peace Walker,
Yeah.
portable
And-
ops, acid, whatever.
Yeah. Take these with a grain of salt too, because
Well, that's just
what you've heard, yeah.
Yes. But the first one coming out isn't the Big Boss collection. It's the Solid Snake collection, or also known as the Twin Snake collection. Because it's going to be 1, 2, and 4. And then it's going to have some, I think it's acid. I'll have to look it up, but I think there's some portable games that take place between 2 and 4. And I can't remember which ones they were, but they were made after 4. I kind of gotta try to remember it, but those games had David Hayter playing the voice for Snake as per usual.
Yeah.
Which they brought him back because of them making the HD collection of the games. And they want it to sound a little bit more crisp, especially the older games. So it's one of the reasons why, again, they're making new collections.
Yeah.
But they're wanting to reintroduce the collections in a particular order.
Oh yeah, they do a new collection just about every console generation.
Well, with the original collection, there was 2, 3, and Peace Walker.
Yeah.
And then this collection is gonna be
Yeah, the current one's 1, 2, and 3, and then the one you're talking about's like different ones.
no, the current one doesn't have. Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the HD collection that was on Xbox.
No, the current one's 1, 2, 3, and then the MSX games. But the MSX games have always been part of 3 since Subsistence, so yeah. I think it even has the NES games. Let me check. I'm curious now.
The MGS game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on 3. Because it's in the it's in the startup menu where you can actually go and play them. But if there's a game that you like that you want to see being done better in a future game, then or like a future release, then comment down below. That comment field looks a little how do you say bare? A little naked in that sense.
We've been getting more, and I thank you all for commenting. But please comment. We take your comments to heart. We listen to you.
It looks empty.
Yes.
It looks afraid, alone, and abandoned. And it really wants some words put down in the thing. So, yeah, feed it some words. Help it not look so lonely down there. And help it thrive.
Yep.
And help this topic thrive.
Yes.
Let's keep this topic going
Yeah, comments
to the
are
next 1,000 years.
Yeah, comments are the nutrients that help this topic grow. Because we need to plant the seeds in order for them to grow and
seeds
thrive.
are the letters that go down in the comments.
Yes. With that, please like and subscribe.
I've been Goten.
No, I've been Piccolo.
This has been Random Conflux.
And get back to training.
Okay, jeez, let me hit the button. Let me find it.
You must find the button within.
I found it. Bye.
You just hit record again. Hit the button.